Good morning, everybody. You're very welcome to today's Chamber member interview. We're delighted to be joined by Sandra and Donal Horgan from HSF Accountants based in Mount Rath and most recently in the Plaza Centre there at the main roundabout. So you're both very welcome today. So Donal, I'm going to hand it over to yourself. You're going to give us a bit of background on the practice over the years in Mount Rath.
Yeah, great, Bernie. Thanks for the opportunity to come in and speak to you this morning. Lovely, bright morning. I suppose we can see spring is on the way.
Yeah.
Sandra and I met way back in the the late 80s, really, back in the old Carlow Regional College, which is now IT Carlow. And we graduated as accountants in the early 90s and embarked on our careers. Sandra took the route of taxation, working through the large, accountancy firms in Dublin city centre. I worked in more indigenous industry, really, in working my way up through, financial control roles.
Okay.
Sandra worked, in a lot of the bigger firms in Dublin, ending up in Coopers and Ibrant, which became PricewaterhouseCoopers, around the mid-90s or thereabouts, working in international taxation, and I was working in financial control. With a young family on the way, as we get towards the end of the 90s, we kind of had a work-life balance, to consider. We had at this stage moved down to Vickerstown, where we live now. And I was doing a lot of traveling, predominantly over to the UK, but occasionally to the US. And I was looking at, God, do I really want to drive to Dublin 2 times a day or once a day, 5 days a week, 50 weeks a year, and then throw in travel on top of that? And I didn't. So we sat down and we decided to take the plunge. And in the early 2000s, we went out on our own. And we were at that for a year or two, kind of working from home. And then we took another plunge, and we established ourselves in Mount Rath in about 11 years ago, 10 or 11 years ago.
Okay.
And then more recently, about 6 years ago, we bought the premises that we are now in, which was, a lot of people locally will know it as the old credit union building that was there through the 80s and 90s. And that's where we are now, just off the square in Mount Rath. And we're very happy to be there, and it's been very good to us. And we've recently then expanded out, and we've taken the opportunity that Brexit has presented us. And I'll hand you over to Sandra here, because she's the brainstorm or the power behind HFS Customs. So Sandra, over to you.
Yeah, great.
Look, as I said, my background with PwC was in international, so I was against a lot.
Sorry, Sandra, can you just lean a bit near the speaker there, the microphone?
Oh,
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Step in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Perfect.
Yes. No, I would have dealt with the OECD stuff. We knew with Brexit the marketplace was changing, because when you look at the EU, it's made up of, and I don't want to get too technical, but it's made up of the EU VAT regime, customs union, and the single market. So when they voted against the backstop, they voted to leave the customs union, and the single market, we now just have, that's replaced by the UK and the EU Trade and Cooperation Agreement. So when you look at just the basic 4 freedoms that exist within the EU, which is the free movement of people, goods, capital, and services, that's what's covered in the agreement. But for the free movement of goods, even though it's 0% tariffs, you still have to move those goods through a customs union. So we knew this was going to be a huge changer to the marketplace. So we set up HFS Customs in London and here in Portlaoise.
Wow.
And it's amazing, Bernie. If I think back, maybe 3 years ago, before I had given any thought or consideration to Brexit, it was a murmur in the background, maybe in the media. But Sandra came back from she was at a tax conference in London, and she came back talking about a major British retailer, and they were putting 50 million pounds sterling into their Brexit strategy.
Yeah.
And her eyes were popping, and we knew then there was something serious happening. So it's and I'll throw a little statistic at you. In 2020, so before Brexit, in Ireland, we would have produced, or we would have processed 1.2 million customs declarations in the year. Now that is expected, and we don't quite know because we weren't recording statistics of east-west traffic. So we weren't recording how many individual imports and exports were happening in and out of the UK. But it is expected that that 1.2 million customs declarations is going to grow somewhere between 30 and 50 million transactions. Now, that's a staggering number. But if you take the UK side, and the reason we've established in the UK is because it's a bigger fish, I suppose, or a bigger pond. But in the same 2020, they're going to process something of the order of 50 million transactions. And that is expected to grow anywhere between 350 and 600 million declarations, because everything coming out of the UK is an export into, well, not everything, but a large volume of their traffic is into mainland Europe. So it's an incredible opportunity for anyone in this space. And you know, I laugh, and Sandra will kick me for saying this, but I say, God bless Boris Johnson.
Yes.
But there's not too many people would say that, but look, I know where you're coming from.
Go on.
Look, it sounds like you were well ahead of the curve, and when you hear about that retailer, I suppose your eyes were opened and you knew that this was like serious stuff. But I suppose that sounds like a very big pie, and you just need a piece of that pie, which is great. And I know even say November, December, a couple of members were ringing asking me, was there anyone in the chamber looking after customs? So it was actually really timely, and you contacted me, Sandra, and you know, you joined the chamber newly in January. So it's great, and well done for taking the step to set up during these COVID times. But you've seen the opportunity, in fairness.
And it was something that Sandra had an interest in, I suppose. She was probably politically aware and knew this was coming, and it's her natural interest, I suppose. So it has been a good fit for us. It's been a curious couple of months, because even as we were in the late stages of development, as we were opening up in Portlaoise, we couldn't really market ourselves because the general population had no idea of what Brexit was coming. And it's really only beginning to dawn on people the problems that it's presenting. And it's really only now we're in a position to kind of put our hands up and say, we're here and this is the services we offer. Because nobody was really listening prior to Christmas.
And I think it was beyond the general public. I think a lot of businesses weren't aware really of what was coming down the track. And with COVID, people were otherwise, you know, preoccupied. It's been very challenging, really.
Yes, it has.
It has. And in terms of, since you've set up there in the plaza, have you had plenty of people contacting you and inquiries coming in?
Go on, you go, Sam.
Right. So yes, our aim in setting up the market, we knew that obviously we knew there was going to be a huge demand, and our sector is the SME sector on the accountancy side, and I thought that's where we would fit into the marketplace. But I think the solution that a lot of people were preparing for Brexit was stockpiling. So the SME sector haven't really started to resume trade. But what did start are the multinationals, because they provide a 24/7 service. So our client base now is the multinational sector. You know, so we have a very strong clientele now, and we're providing services for all type of goods. You know, so we're looking at clothing, steel, normal building supplies, but also it's what we call SPS products, which is sanitary and phytosanitary products. And Donal was saying, in layman's terms, that's products of plant and animal origin. So they can be tricky because you're dealing with the Department of Agriculture, you're dealing with the HSE, and you're dealing with revenue. So, but then we need food supplies, and we need the shelves in the shop all stocked. So that's where we're fitting in at the moment. So
and there's a notable absence of products on shelves in the like of Tesco, you know, things that are normally there. The shelves, actually I was there yesterday and I just commented to my husband how many empty shelves there were of products that you'd normally find there. So as you say, the stockpiling isn't the real, you know, we're not in the real scenario yet, because that was kind of a firefighting kind of tactic, I suppose. Or
again, it's interesting, Bernie, and not to be throwing too many stats at you, but the Dublin Port at the moment is handling traffic at around 30% of normal levels.
Wow.
So, you know, when it comes back, as it will, it's going to be chaotic to a degree, because the capacity for brokers to clear product is there's only so much capacity in it, and we're struggling at the moment. The wider industry, the wider customs area is a struggle at the moment. So when volumes return to normal, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'd imagine your business is going to grow, and you'll probably take on more staff and all the rest of it over the coming.
We certainly hope so. Yes.
Yeah, the coming few years. Yeah,
We have taken on 2 new staff, so we are looking now, because the whole Brexit process is still evolving, because between DB and Northern Ireland on the 1st of March, they have new regulations on their TSS system. You know, on 1st of April, there's more normal import declarations to be done on the UK side, because they brought in a phased basis. The HMRC issued their border operating model, and they brought in their customs declarations on a phased system. So on the 1st of April, they'll have their import declaration, and on the 1st of July, they'll have their border control posts for their SPS products. Yeah, so there's, I can see more and more of a workload.
Yeah.
Coming.
And in terms, you mentioned there you had a London office. I'm sure with all the new technology that we've been all brought up to speed, and it's making it much easier to kind of manage that from Laois.
It is, for sure, Bernie, and it's one of the I suppose, if we were to look for a silver lining in the whole COVID and the last year that we've all had to experience, it has been that it has forced us to use the technologies that are there.
Yeah.
So the likes of a Zoom meeting. I mean, we never heard of Zoom 6 months ago or 9 months ago.
No.
You know, the paperless office. How long are we talking about a paperless office?
Yeah.
But it's actually coming. It's actually turning into a reality now.
Yeah.
So with the technologies that's there, so we're using online accounting systems or online accounting software. We're using these apps, a receipt bank piece of software, which allows you take a photo of your invoice and it goes up through the cloud and down to us, and it removes the need for physical interaction. And I suppose in our accountancy business, it's very much a one-to-one personal relationship that you have with a client, and the thoughts of maybe trying to provide that service without at least 1 or 2 meetings a year would kind of feel, but how can you?
Yeah.
We've been forced to change, and you know, from our own staff, their health, from our customers' health, for everybody's health, it's a road we've had to take.
Yeah.
And it does open up huge possibilities for us, because it means the type of work that we do and the way we process information has to change, and it has to be more accurate, and it has to be more cost effective, and it's dragging us kicking and screaming, I suppose, into the modern 21st century, and that's a good thing, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And it opens the market up for you guys as well. While you're based in Laois, you can have clients all over Ireland now that might have been trickier previously if you needed to meet up with them.
Yes.
It can all be done remotely.
Yes.
I mean, there is nothing like the face-to-face, and I haven't been in the offices where you are yet, in that new hub in the plaza, and I'm dying to get in there to have a look around and meet people. I haven't met either of you either, so to be honest, most of the recent people that I've joined, I haven't actually met face-to-face, but you know, this works for the moment. And look, it's great to hear, and it's great to hear that there's a Laois company so ahead of the curve when it comes to helping businesses with Brexit, because it's no mean feat, you know, from what the feedback we're getting and the engagement with Chambers Ireland. We kind of work with all of the chambers and hear the challenges that are happening, particularly with the border counties. So it's it's tricky. But look, and I think, you know, you've chosen a great location there, and you still have your work-life balance piece as well.
Yeah, and that's obviously very important. We have a young family, and it's
they're older now.
Well, they're older. Yeah, they kill me for saying that.
Yeah.
But no, it's good. It's good. And Port Laois, as I'm sure everyone knows, is earmarked in the government national development plan as the inland port for the country. So it is an appropriate place for us, really, you know.
Yeah, exactly. And with the likes of, you know, Pat McDonough committing to that facility there at the plaza, you know, and he's really committed to making that
Yes.
happen.
Oh, he is.
It's great. It's
Yeah,
brilliant.
yeah.
Yeah, there's even since the chamber was established 18 months ago, a lot has happened in Laois, really, you know,
Yeah.
so hopefully that will continue. COVID is a blip, but it's a blip that has produced silver linings, as you said
Yes,
earlier.
yes,
Yeah, yeah.
yes, it has.
So look, it's been great to meet both of you, and I think you've given the members a really good insight into the business and what you can do moving forward, helping members. So if anyone needs help in this particular area, it seems like we have experts in the county
Yes,
in there in
yes,
the plaza.
yes, yes, yes.
And hopefully, as soon as things open up, I'll call in to have a chat with you and see your new office.
Yes.
I'm
We
dying
look
to see that view out the window.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
here, I'll turn it around. If we can, I hope I don't turn it off now, but I will. Yes, so can you see
Oh wow!
over the forecourt?
Oh yeah, bird's eye view of everything.
Yes.
You won't miss anybody. So look, I'll wrap it up there, and
Great.
looking forward to meeting you soon. And thanks for taking the
Great.
time to do this today.
Great,
All right,
Bernie.
thank you.
Thank
Mind
you.
yourself now. Thanks.